Shalom. Call Halayim La Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakaha Kodesh. Double honor to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, who still rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, and safety unto the Lord's elect. Scattered throughout the four corners of the planet Earth, mainly in America, pushing this word in humility and sincerity as commanded by Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And the title of this lesson is going into all of the currencies worldwide will collapse. Okay, all of the currencies, all of the so-called money, because it's not real money. Biblical money, according to the scriptures, is gold, silver, and cattle, and other resources and crops that one can barter. Okay, but this system, which was set up by the top international banking families, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the elites of the nation of Edom, those are Edomites, which is the wicked according to the scriptures. They have set up this system based upon paper money, based upon what's called fiat currency. And all fiat currencies eventually collapse, right? Recently, Iran, they're saying that the Iranian currency, I think it's called the Rial, the Iranian currency has collapsed. And so there are protests and riots, and they're saying that the government is indiscriminately murdering innocent civilians, okay? And this is because the Iranian currency has collapsed. Now, the Most High, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, that's his name, and his son's name, they are saving the best for last. Because when America's currency collapses, it's pretty much going to affect and, collapse all of the currencies worldwide, because America's currency is the one that the world is like the standard, if you will. For a lot of things, you have to use U.S. currency. And you Americans, you don't have the mental, just like in these third world countries like Iran, they're used to, they're used to a lot of shit like that you're not used to over here. They're used to that instability, the political turmoil, hearing gunshots, and even bombs or missiles being blasted within your land. They're used to that. They're used to chaos and stampedes and riots and large gatherings of over 10,000. But here in America, you're not used to that. So when the currency collapses, another thing you're not used to is walking into the grocery store and seeing bread. Excuse me. It's early morning. And seeing bread, a loaf of bread for $125. You're not used to that here in the United States. Or seeing a pack of water for $300. But see, various countries, Venezuela's another one. Even, I believe, Germany, the Weian Republic. There's different points in history, most recently Iran, where these different countries, they've experienced hyperinflation because of the collapse of their currency. And they've either had to bounce back or do something new. But see, when America's currency collapses, it will not bounce back. And this is why the scriptures constantly speak about how righteousness delivered from death. It said, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from death. Because a lot of people, their mindset is to stack up on money. And if I stack up on money, then I can always have access to what I need. But see, your money is not going to matter. At a certain point in time, your money is not going to matter, whether it be the Lord bring a famine. Because I don't care how much money you got. If there's a famine and I have food, you're not getting it. If I know that there's only a certain amount of food within this 100-mile radius and I have it, you could write me a blank check. It means nothing. It means nothing. You can have all the money in the fucking world, but if there's thermonuclear missiles headed your way, it means nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that's why Ezekiel the 7th chapter says what it says. They shall cast their silver and their gold in the streets. It's Bible prophecy. What would make an individual cast his money into the streets? Like in what was that, Venezuela? I believe it was Venezuela or Colombia many years ago. They had bills, dollar bills of their currency lining up, piled up in the streets like trash, like garbage. And in the Hawaiian Republic, I believe they were using the money to light fires to keep themselves warm in the wintertime. So what is an American gonna do, especially you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans who are the Israelites? What the fuck are you gonna do when the bag no longer matters, when the bag can't boost your self-esteem? Because a lot of Israelites, they use currency to make themselves feel good about themselves, to comfort themselves, and to take them away from the reality of their oppression. But the totality of your oppression is going to be put on you because there will be no money and there will be no safety net. You know, there will be nothing to fall back on, if you will, because this devil, he's not going to, well, I'll say this, there will be a safety net, there will be something to fall back on, but it's going to be for your destruction. Because the collapse of the currency is a means to an end. And we constantly always here at GMS, we talk about the mark of the beast, because that's what's coming. That's what all of this is leading to. And they could bring in the mark of the beast just through legislation. They could say, hey, we need this. We passed the bill, everybody take it. Or they could coerce you, which seems more plausible. They could coerce you and lay a snare and a trap for you and collapse the current currency so that you don't have an option to say, well, I'm still use physical money. I don't want the microchip. If they collapse the physical currency, then you can't say, well, I can use my dollar bills, or I can use my quarters, or I can use my silver, or I can use my gold, because that doesn't mean anything no more. The currency is collapsed. And so without that, now all of a sudden you have to take this microchip or else you have no money whatsoever. That's what the majority of these people will do. Now the chaos that's ensuing in Iran and the anger that's ensuing, it's only making America look that much worse on a global scale. Because once again, America is the cause of many nations' problems. That's why it says in Jeremiah chapter 51, Babylon have been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, and therefore the nations are mad. Because through America's influence, or through their constant pressing upon them, because a lot of countries don't want America's influence, but it's a constant pressure from America, whether it's directly or indirectly. They've been forced to trim their ways, so to speak, and it's only landed them in deeper shit. Okay, Russia backs Iran, pursuant to the prophecy of Ezekiel the 38th chapter. It mentions Gog and Magog, which is Russia. It mentions that they will be a guard unto Persia, which is Iran. The former name for Iran, going back to the 1900s, was Persia. And so Russia is a guard unto them. They're an ally unto them. And what America is doing is affecting all of these nations. They hit Venezuela. They said we're going to sell the oil, but who knows if they're going to sell the oil? Iran was getting oil from Venezuela. Russia was getting oil from Venezuela. And they hit Venezuela, took control of the nation, and now all of a sudden the Iranian currency is collapsing. So one hand is washing the other, it seems. You know? So cause and effect. Problem, reaction, solution. Because at the end of the day, we know that these nations are being controlled by the top international banking families, and their goal is to micro-C-hip the whole world. That's their goal. They're trying to bring everybody through that straight gate, so to speak. With the straight is a position of difficulty. And the position of difficulty that they want everybody in is being forced to take the micro C hill. You see? So it's funny that, like I said, America took over Venezuela, and Venezuela was giving a lot of oil to Iran, and now the Iranian currency has collapsed. And so who do you think, the protesters, they may be protesting against their government, but who do you think the government is blaming? Who do you think the government is looking at as the culprit? You know? Who do you think Russia and the Iranian prime minister are plotting on? Who do you think? Who do you think is next? See, America, and now they're talking about, Trump is talking about he's gonna strike Iran because they're killing protesters. Look, man, when do you ever mind your fucking business? See, this is the problem with you Edomites, man. It don't matter if you a low-level Edomite. It could be the damn Becky down the street. These motherfuckers do not mind their business for nothing. You be having a cookout in your own house, got your cousins or the brothers over, and here it is, some Edomite. Like I always, at my job, I work with the company. They be working on the utilities, and so I always laugh because I say it's always one nosy white person that come out of their house and asks what's going on every single time. We won't even be working in front of their house. They'll come walking from down the block, and they'll put their hands on their hips. What's going on here? Is everything all right? What are you guys doing here? Do you guys got a permit? This and that? Who the fuck made you? Well, the Lord Yahweh Shimon Shai, he said the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not wherein, who is he? See, these devils, they understand that the earth has been given into their power right now, and they take it seriously. So you can't do nothing in the earth without having an answer to these devils, or without them butting in your business like you actually give a fuck about the Iranian people. If you care that much, why you closing the borders? You know, why is there a travel ban from people from that nation if you care so much about them killing the protesters? Here it is. That king can do what he want with his subjects. You doing what you want with the ICE and the so-called Latinos, the northern kingdom of the nation of Israel. You doing what you want with them. Ain't nobody telling you, hey, if you don't have ICE fall back, we're going to invade your country. But this is the pride of you Edomites, man. And this is why the Lord it said that Babylon, the Lord have laid a snare for Babylon, and thou art also taken. He said the Lord laid a snare, which is a trap for you, and you was not aware. See, that spirit of you do whatever you do to your people, you're gonna have to answer for it, this and that. Look, man, everybody getting tired of that. The nations are getting tired of them having to think, well, what would Babylon think about this? Well, that's why they no longer give a fuck. Okay? That's why the Lord's gonna have them strike you. The Lord's going to have them rise up against you. The heathen are rising up against you, pursuant to the book of Obadiah, because thou art become small among them, meaning insignificant. They no longer take you into consideration like that, man. You're losing your grip on the planet Earth. Going back to the point, you have elites amongst all the heathen, but the top elites on the planet Earth are the Edomites. And they've created this fiat currency, and they've created this fiat currency, and it's in their plans to collapse the global currencies to bring in their NWO. But this is going to make America look so bad that I believe it's going to be one of the catalysts for this place being destroyed. Okay? It tells you in James the 5th chapter, your gold and your silver is cankered, and it shall be a witness against you. Which that's what the scripture that reminded me, or the current events in Iran reminded me of that scripture, because of the protesters shouting against the government because of the collapsing of the currency. But it's likened unto how you here in America, Babylon, you're robbing the Israelites out of their wages, through taxation and through low wages and through this fake currency and income tax and all these different schemes and scams that you devils have to basically short Jake out of their money. And here it is, you get $100 million an hour, but I get 15. You don't even pay people a livable wage. And that's why it says in Job, the 20th chapter, I believe, it says that every hand of the wicked shall come upon you. And when you go to that word wicked in the Hebrew, the word is Imal. I believe the word is Imal, which means laborers. Laborers, meaning workers, the workforce. So something is going to happen, which I perceive being the economy collapsing. Like I said, it talks about they shall cast their silver and their gold in the streets. It tells you in Zephaniah that the silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. It says in Genesis concerning ancient Egypt, it said that the money failed in Egypt. There was a famine, and then the money failed. Meaning what? The currency wasn't of any value. Because if there's no food, like I said, it don't matter how much money you fucking got. Who's gonna sell food when they're on the brink of starvation? If I sell you this food, I may starve to death. Therefore, your money is not worth nothing. And so, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, that's why Job the 20th chapter, every hand of the wicked the workers shall come upon thee. The laborers shall come upon you. So the workforce is going to, in this country, is going to rise up against the government. It tells you in 2nd Esdras that there shall be sedition among men. Sedition means an uprising against an authority or government and invading one another. It says they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So these people are going to rise up against the authorities because they're going to get to looking at their paycheck, or they're going to get to looking at the prices in the grocery store. Oh, also that's Revelation the 6th chapter. It prophesies of hyperinflation. It says that a measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And when you go to the word penny in the Greek in that verse, it goes back to the denarion, which is the Roman currency, the denarius, which is a penny represents a day's wage, or it can also represent 10 asses. So you think about what a day's wage is here in America. You work an 8-hour shift, let's say you get 15 an hour. What is that, $130, $120? Let's say you make 20 an hour, okay, $150, $160. So you'll be getting 3 measures of barley, a loaf of bread, 2 loaves of bread for $120, $100, $200, man. That's the hyperinflation that's coming to this place, because that's the spirit that the Lord is bringing. I believe that's the pale horse, which is death and famine, and to kill with the sword and with the pestilence and with hunger. The Lord has prophecies of killing people with hunger. So you Americans, you're not ready for this. And a lot of you Americans, you're going to turn to cannibalism. I was watching the series The Walking Dead, and that was episode last night. They said that this place, it started off as a sanctuary. It would start off as a sanctuary, but the people that came, they raped us, and they raped us, and they raped us, and they raped us, but then we took it back, and we ran out of food. And so we had to start hunting, meaning hunting people. They said we had to start hunting people. We didn't always eat people, but it just happened that way. So these people, they're going to rationalize it in their mind. Not the elect, though. not the ones that will be saved, but the wicked of our people and of these heathen, they're gonna rationalize eating people, cannibalism. You're gonna say, well, look at the price of food. Nobody can afford that. The money is worth nothing. You know, there's chaos in the streets, and until that chaos is restored, the order is restored via the microchip, people are gonna have the ability to do whatever they want without consequence. Which for a lot of individuals, they've been waiting on that. You know, they've been waiting their whole life for an opportunity like that. So if you're not right with Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, it's over for you, man. It's going to be all bad for you. So Lord, when this is edifying, just a quick kick. I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachak Kodash. Double honor to our apostles and our elders of Great Millstone who still rule and teach well. Kwam Yashua Shalom.